What is a red flag that most people are unable to see early on in a relationship or while dating? When everything revolves around what they want to do, their job, their social life, hobbies, where they want to live, go out to, go on holiday to, until you get to the point where you don't even know what you want to do anymore. It starts small, but builds quickly, and you might not realize until it's too late. When you make suggestions or organize things, it's usually met with negative comments, or the other person acting like a spoilt brat because it's not good enough, never good enough, so you just don't bother anymore. Keeping relationship secret. Actually hiding it from his/her friend to the point no knows. Not private. Secret. Cutting you off from your friends, and not permitting you to socialize without them. Recently lost one of my besties to a new beau who won't let her out of his sight. We'll catch up when it all goes south. My ex called herself a pathological liar and told me she would never lie to me, and cried to me multiple times over the phone begging me not to leave when I told her to chill out and I'm not going anywhere. I was a bit naive since she had never really hurt me at that point. Always having strange reasons to not want to see you, forgetting your plans, being defensive, or bit of a standoff. When one person always determines when time can be spent together. If it feels like you're always the one compromising to find time together, walk away. It's not going to go well. The jabs they claim are just jokes. Immediately pushing boundaries often means the person has no concept of bodily autonomy. Dismissing your feelings as trivial. A person who actually cares about you would consider your feelings about things as well, or at least attempt to understand. If they keep complaining about multiple exes, in those situations, they are the common factor. Trying to take over your best friend, visiting them without you, confiding in them, telling them one-sided stuff about your relationship. They are making sure you don't have a support system. Possessiveness tends to manifest itself later on in the relationship. Think an underlooked one is constantly needing to do something. It's like you're more concerned with the experience of a relationship than actually forming a connection. Odd facts that don't seem to line up. Obsessive loyalty/submissiveness to their parents. It makes them look family-oriented at first, but if their parents say jump and their response is always how high without ever questioning it, you'll never be a priority to them and will never have the freedom to grow your own relationship with your spouse. Or if they never have anything nice to say/always talk shit about their friends. The first people any of us learn to love that aren't blood are our friends. If they're okay saying/doing awful things involving their friends, they'll do the same thing to you when the relationship evolves into a lifelong friendship, as all good ones do. Basically, when starting a new relationship, always wait at least a year before making any big decisions like moving in together, leaving your job, getting pregnant, etc. People can pretend to be the perfect person for a while, and you're so full of love chemicals in the beginning that you're often blind to their faults. See that person through a whole year and you'll have a much better chance of seeing who they really are. Ask yourself, am I falling for the same type that I fell for the last time? Remember how that went. The only thing you have in common is that you like to bang each other. Lack of respect towards you as a person. If they don't know how to be respectful in the early encounters, things are only going downhill from there. Someone agreeing with all you say when starting to get to know them. Oh really? It's my hobby too. Yes, I told everyone before, these are the best flowers, right? Always wanted to travel to Italy too. I see it like you, blah blah. If this happens with everything you mention, the person, in my opinion, is trying to manipulate you from the beginning. Telling you exactly what you want to hear to lure you in, trying to be charismatic and make you trust them so they can find your weak spots. It's common for narcissists, for example. They treat you well, shower you with affection, but treat others poorly. They're hiding a psycho crazy in their head. Extreme clinginess. Seems cute at first, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with valuing time with your partner and spending as much time as possible with them. But if you're sacrificing time with your family and friends because they make you feel guilty for not being glued to their side 24/7, then there's a problem. This one usually doesn't show up in the very early stages, but if your partner's family doesn't like you and your partner says they have no idea why, chances are high it's because your partner vents about you to their family, so your negative qualities are all they know about you. One party paying everything all the time without the other party ever even faking to want to pay. Promise me you'll never leave me. Hell no. These things listed were all things that were in the beginning of my relationship that I just didn't know were red flags. After reading this, I know what to look out for. Thanks. Her favorite movie was Human Centipede and she liked it for the plot. She says this unironically. Hidden lies and not being transparent. Don't mind me, just checking whether I am any of these. The constant need to know what you're doing or where you are. It's okay if it's just something they may ask from time to time for general conversation or to take interest in your life, but it becomes a problem if it's getting to the point where they're asking very frequently to an obsessive degree, to the point where it feels like they're just trying to track where you are at all times and monitor what you're doing. Another major red flag to me is if they always get upset whenever you don't respond to their call or message as soon as you get it, expecting you to basically have your phone on you at all times. A personal one from me is them not talking to you that much unless it's for favors or to borrow money. I feel when you can we talk about how to figure that out together, is met with I don't want to argue and them leaving, or them getting angry. Mega red flags. Communication is crucial. This is second only to the you should have known / dropped hints. No one is psychic. Ask for your needs and don't get angry at the person who didn't mind read them and do them. How they squeeze the toothpaste at the top like a monster. Surprised that I haven't seen it yet, but maybe it's just the case with me. Lack of interest. If you're the one initiating every single contact, every conversation, every step in the first few weeks, you'll have to do it for the rest of the relationship. It's either 50-50 from the very first date or it's not worth your time. Possessiveness, jealousy, being really scary. They start out charming, fun to talk to, compliment, lay foot on thick. Then slowly they start to want to see you a lot, then they demand it, they manipulate you into seeing them again. Gaslighting you away from your own time in order to see them. Love bombing. No one can fall in love with you in 2 days, trust me. They can, however, be in love with the idea of you liking them more by mirroring your behavior and showering you with compliments. Take a step back, tell them that hey, that's cool and all but you do not and cannot possibly love me. You don't even know me. Emotional distance. Treating you like you are a cheat when you are not. Being overly forthcoming emotionally. Makes you bond fast but then they become codependent and expect you to be the keeps of them on every level. If you don't they go all out claiming they will die / kill themselves without you. It's a whole thing. It was really pathetic and manipulative and I'm glad I walked instead of falling for it. They always threaten you when you leave. If they cheated on someone else with you, they'll cheat on you with someone else. Being too clingy. Often these types of people are broken mentally and will often be manipulating, causing you to drive away friends and family. They also tend to be jealous and will accuse you of cheating and make you feel like shit every time you come home for having to leave them to go to work. If your interests are exactly the same and you feel like wow I finally found someone who likes the same things, we have so much in common, I can't believe it, blah blah, then they're 100% faking their personality. Many toxic people are good at reading others and come to you and tell you they love the things they think you love, tell you they have the same hobbies as you, even fake interest in your beliefs, etc. It almost feels too good to be true, because it is. And a few months later you realize that your partner was just pretending to be the perfect match and in fact he/she is a very different person from what you thought you were getting. Some may even use constant excuses, guilt tripping, etc. to stop you from pursuing your interests, hobbies, etc. because they hate them. This depends on the context and situation, but in my personal experiences, when they say I love you the moment you start dating or during the beginning of the relationship, the first few weeks, if you guys have been friends for years or crushing on each other for a very long time then sure, it's fine. But other than that, most of the time, it just feels like pressure and tying you down to a serious relationship when you still need more time together to figure out if you want to spend the rest of your life with them. Too late, didn't read lack of balance. This is very general but I think it applies to basically all aspects of all relationships. People often miss a lack of balance in all sorts of things. If early on especially, you feel like something is one-sided or excessive, it's probably just the beginning. The longer you rationalize it, the worse it will get. It's good to have a partner that is enthusiastic about seeing you. It's bad to have a partner that insists on always seeing you every day and expects you to choose them over things you had planned. It's good to have a partner that is active in meeting and getting to know your family. It's bad when they start going out of their way to see certain family members all the time and without you. It's healthy to joke a little back and forth. However, if something goes too far or is hurtful and you express yourself and you are met with it's just a joke, relax type bullshit, it's important to have civil, level-headed disagreements. You're two different people with two different sets of needs, experiences, etc. Having calm discussions that challenge your perspective can be a great way to strengthen your characters. Constantly being told you're wrong or more aggressively disagreed with is bad. My bipolar ex-girlfriend told me early on that it took a long time for her to get away from her ex. I brushed it off at the time, but I now know I should not have. She was probably still with him, and telling him everything is fine, when she started fucking and dating me. Then she did the same thing to me. To MR ex-boyfriend, I'm sorry, I didn't know. To Brittany, you're an atrocious human being. Crazy family. The downside of not meeting close relatives, particularly kids, until you're somewhat invested is that regardless of how great your S0 is, their family has the ability to ruin things. I wasn't around my so's mom enough to figure out she was racist until we were married. Fortunately for me, he agreed we need to cut contact, but what if he hadn't? The first time I saw him really upset, not at me, he punched the floor. All subsequent big arguments resulted in holes in the wall, broken TV. I thought, well, at least he's not hitting me. Then I found out that they hit around you before they start hitting you. Also, he would tell me how he always seemed to get into altercations with others, but he was always rational and never instigated. After being with him, I know that wasn't true. This might seem backwards, but honestly, anyone I know, even just outside of dating, who is overly enthusiastic when talking about being their best self and having big goals and speaking it into existence like they're at a TED Talk is probably talking like that to cover up the fact they got nothing going on. And all those guys I've been with that go on that like have cheated on me. How they treat others. They may seem to be the nicest or most caring to you, but if they snap at other people or belittle them is any way, that is who they truly are and are putting on an act at the beginning of your relationship. Source: 2-year university relationship that was built on lies. Being constantly compared to their ex or exes. Related, them talking often about a crazy ex. Caring only about them and not yourself. It's very important to learn how to care both about your partner and yourself. With time you might realize how bad your situation actually is because you pushed your partner before you too much. While at work, woman I'm dating texts me, we text a bit, then I get into project I need to do. After 2 hours she texts, haven't heard back from you, did I say something wrong? I text, working. Jealousy. Especially of your friends who are the same gender as your partner. You think they'll outgrow it, but really they just let their anger fester and get angry with you for not being sensitive to their feelings. When the person you are dating is a self-centered narcissist always on their phone pretending to be Instagram famous. Short angry outbursts. Then the apology tour after. They'll just get worse. I basically married my dad. It's a bummer. Love bombing. Slowly reducing contact with your friends and family. Once you have been separated from them, you become fully dependent on him/her. It starts when they are jealous of the other people in your life. Clinginess that devolves into controlling behavior. At the beginning, being constantly in touch and asking about every little thing can be endearing, being interested in one's life, etc. Later, it's terrifying. Low-key addictions. Just a smoke/drink every now and then in the beginning can spiral right out of control over time, especially if the infrequency is a lie. Then it'll be you knew about it when we got together, so you can't object down the track. On that note, fuck you and your manipulation, Adam. Priors. My ex had a prior for assault with a deadly weapon. She lost everything and I took her into my home. She claimed I was in self-defense, so I didn't see any immediate danger. After getting drunk one night she got physical with me. Ended up hitting me with a pipe 6 times and putting me in a chokehold afterward. I almost died and she was more concerned with covering her ass with the roommate than calling me an ambulance. 13 staples in my head, by the way. I never charged her, I just wanted her out of my life. My ex's father was fired from 2 jobs for sexually harassing women while in a position of authority, company leadership. He has a great relationship with his dad and would always laugh telling me I want me around his dad or any man in his family alone. But to him it was a laughing matter. If someone is cheap, run. I don't mean people who are generous but have little money. There's a difference in being cheap and being poor, but a cheap asshole is one who is usually stingy with affection as well. Run far and fast. Mental health state of their partner. You are usually unable to see or accept they might be not ready for a relationship and then get hurt horrifically when the breakup day comes. Leeching off of you too often. If you're the one paying for everything all the time and they're not offering to do their part, nor do they suggest you do something on a budget because they just want to spend time with you and can't afford stuff and don't want to mooch. Same if they want to live in your house/apartment, or depend on you to rub their errands, etc.